Hi, my name is Anita and I'm from Winnipeg, Canada. This is my assignment for week 4 of the Introduction to Music Production course. Today I'm going to go through the basic steps for using Izotope's alloy compressor on a bass guitar recording in Logic Pro version 9. A compressor is a dynamic signal processor that is designed to reduce or compress the dynamic range of an audio signal. To begin with, I'm going to set the ratio on the compressor. This determines the degree to which the volume is going to be reduced when the signal goes over the threshold. I'm going to set it to about 4:1 for this track. Now, when I play the track, we'll see that there isn't much gain reduction going on at this point. But if I lower the threshold to about 18 or 19 or so, we begin to see that there's a fairly consistent amount of gain reduction beginning to take place. Now the next thing we need to consider is the speed at which the volume is reduced. I'm going to set the attack time to about 10 milliseconds. That way we won't lose the initial transients of the bass notes when they're being played. So that's sounding pretty good. We can still hear the attack on every note, and overall, things are getting a bit smoother in terms of levels. So the release time is the point at which the compressor stops reducing the volume of the audio signal. I'm going to leave it at 100 milliseconds since I don't want it to stop reducing the volume partway through the longer sustained notes. Okay, so it's sounding pretty smooth. The settings are fairly gentle to preserve as much of the performance as possible, and on this compressor we can also choose if we want more of a digital sound or a vintage sound, which is a bit warmer. We currently have the sensor of the compressor set to peak. This provides a tighter peak control of the signal. It can also yield very quick changes in gain reduction. If you set it to RMS, it'll apply an averaging function on the input signal before its level is compared to the threshold. We're going to leave it on peak for now. So the last thing we want to make sure we do is to look at where the output levels are at now that we've compressed the volume levels. When I'm playing the track, you notice that we've lost a few dB on the outputs. So we can go to the gain control and boost it until it's at the same level as it was before we compressed the signal. And we'll just double check that. And now we can see that we've got pretty even levels. This will make it easier to place the bass guitar in the mix because we won't have to turn the track down to keep the loud notes from sticking out. Bear in mind while doing this, we don't want to make things so smooth that we lose all the dynamics. It's the kind of thing that takes practice, and over time we can get a better idea of how to use these tools to improve the dynamics and musicality of our mixes. So just to summarize what I've done here. First, I set the ratio so that the compressor will begin to reduce the volume of the louder notes that go over the threshold. I set the threshold until there's a fairly consistent amount of gain reduction happening without exaggerating it too much, and then I checked the attack time to make sure that some of the initial transients of the notes were still going to come through. Next, I made sure the release time is long enough that the compressor doesn't disengage halfway through a sustained note. And finally, I set the makeup gain so that we have similar overall levels before and after processing. And that's about it. So thanks for taking the time to listen and watch. I hope I presented the material in a clear and concise way and that you enjoyed the presentation. Happy recording and good luck with the rest of the course.